Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Now, before we get into this today, make sure you join me on my Telegram channel. Left link to that in the live chat and also the description below. Posting different trading setups there throughout the week, and you don't be missing out on that, so make sure you check that out. So, first up, like usual, we'll start with AUSD. Make sure you guys let me know if you're looking at any different charts, any different pairs, or if you're trading any pair. Just drop it in the chat and we'll take a look at it, see what's going on, and yeah, analyze it together. So yeah, AUSD, as you can see, we had a big drop for this one. I think during the live stream we were trading around this area up here, and we did see, well, we didn't see that, but after the live stream we did see a big collapse there for AUSD, and a lot of AUD and NZD pairs kind of did the same thing, big move up, big move back down. So AUSD, again, for this one, my bias is still very much to the downside. It's been for that for the past couple of weeks now. And I do expect more downside for AUSD after that big drop. You can see in the daily candle there, nice wick to the upside, and then we'll collapse to the downside. So we still do have our target 0.74 for AUSD. If we go on the weekly time frame, expecting to see a test of this area here in the market. Prior resistance will now be turned support, and it's around that 0.74 area. So that's what I do expect to see AUD USD get to. Maybe not this week, potentially next week, but we still do have three trading days left, so you could see potentially that gap being filled. But nonetheless, targets are still back down to 0.74 for AUD. So only looking for selling opportunities for this one after that big collapse that we had yesterday, treating this bullish push here on the 4H as retracement, and I think we could retrace maybe to around this area here in the market. We have price support here, nice move up, will now be turn resistance. We did wick into that area there in the past hour or so. As you can see, not much conviction there for AUSD on the hourly time frame, but I do think we'll see that conviction. The momentum is definitely much to the downside, so I am expecting AUSD to push downside and probably give us new lows by the end of the week, probably, and then maybe 0.74, depending how bearish we can see the Australian dollar against the US dollar. But overall, bias is still very much the downside. I think generally looking for sell, from this area does look quite good, and then the continuation lower. So yeah, more downside for USD. I did get into pound USD actually. I got into pound USD short. I'm still in that trade currently right now. I entered on that candle there. Excuse me. Entered on that candle there at, what was it? Yeah, 1 p.m. GMT, and entered on that candle there on that wick because I saw we had a bit of a false breakout. I was looking at this trend line here on the live stream, but we did close back above, but I knew that that false break of that resistance there is a great entry signal, and then we did collapse to the downside from there. So GBUSD, as expected, we did see continuation to the downside. I'm still holding onto that trade currently. Right now we're finding support around this area here, so I have taken some profit. This was like the second target. I had a first target around 1.38, second target here, third target was back at these lows, which I'm holding on to for that trade for. So far running quite nicely for that position. My stop loss was just above the wick, so we're running quite good there. And yeah, expecting to see more continuation back down to those lows, see how that get on. Hopefully get there by the end of the week. Nice, G, nice. And EU, yeah, I was looking at Euro USD, but I didn't pull back enough. It didn't pull back enough for me to get interested in. I did consolidate here, so I had a nice breakout potential in the lower time frames, but I was looking for price to pull back into this area and it didn't quite do that for me. So yeah, I was sticking to GPUSD and I just traded that one. Yeah, so Euro USD, nonetheless, my bias is still to the downside for this pair. Again, GPUSD, Euro USD, a lot of the USD pairs, ADUSD, apart from like USD CAD, USD CHF, I think they're going up. Euro USD, bias is still to the downside for this one. Big drop to the downside yesterday after that nice 4H time frame closed there at 10 a.m. and now we're seeing a continuation. So I still think we can see more downside for Euro USD, potentially some new lows. I think we kind of wicked around the low ish, but I think we'll probably pass that, maybe even come back down to 1.17500. Because looking at the DXY, you can see this one that was still quite bullish here, big push to the upside. DXY, we haven't actually quite made new highs yet, so I still think the DXY will push on to create new highs, and that will give Euro USD another push to the downside because they're inversely correlated. So DXY looks like it's going to push up, give us some new highs, and then if that does happen, which does look like quite likely, then Euro USD should push on, give us some new lows as well. So yeah, more downside for Euro USD. Entries are probably not too keen on Euro USD anymore, just because we're back at the lows. We could easily see a move up before the market does come back down. But obviously it does look like we're rejecting this area, but I'll probably leave Euro USD alone just because we're back at those lows anyway. If you were to maybe pull back, maybe back to this area here, nice area of support, all across there, resistance, that might be a bit more attractive. But nonetheless, if you're already in shorts for Euro USD, I'll probably hold on to it because I still see another leg lower for this pair. And again, on the higher time frames as well. On the daily, had a nice bearish close there, nice wick to the upside as well. So again, I think Euro USD from a daily point of view might even come to this area here. Nice strong area of demand down the daily. So there is room to the downside for Euro USD, and I still do see more downside for that pair. Nice, yeah. I probably got it in the retracement, you got in the original move there, John. So yeah, that was a good trade for GBUSD, because I do remember you were in it. You're already in GBUSD when I was talking about on the live stream. So yeah, that was some nice entries from you there. Yeah, and I do see more continuations. Are you targeting the lows, the previous lows around 1.37350 area? Are you targeting there? Because that's where I'm looking to take or close the rest of my trade out. I've already taken some profit around here, because technically we could reject and start going up again, but I'm still holding off for price to come back to those lows. GBUSD again is another US dollar pair. If DXY does go up, we should see GBUSD fall to the downside. Nice daily candle closure there as well, nice wick to the upside. So yeah, expecting to see that continuation to the downside for GBUSD and Euro USD for that matter as well. Pound NZD, Pound AUD. Okay, we'll take a look at them now. Pound NZD, again, very strong push to the upside, because again it is partnered with New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar, so we did see big spikes to the downside for those pairs, so hence GBNZD spike to the upside. Overall, the market is still kind of bearish here, still push, pullback, push, pullback, push. Could be aggressive pullback there, but it's still respecting kind of this area in the market here. Nice trend line there, as you can see, first, second, third, big wick, retest it to the downside. So I can see GBNZD falling to this area here potentially. I'm not sure if we get new lows, because this is quite an aggressive push. We might find support here again and see another push to the upside. But right now, GBNZD is quite bearish, very strong candle closure there on the 4H. And a big shift of momentum, so you can see a big spike to the upside, all this consolidation, and a clear breakout to the downside. So as long as that's not a false breakout, which I don't think it is, it looks like a proper breakout there in the lower time frames, I think I do expect to see GBNZD fall back to this support. Whether we break it or not too sure. We might tap just below it into 1.95. Nice area of support, might retest that area there. But nonetheless, GBNZD does look quite bearish right now. So yeah, I'm expecting to see more continuation back into that support. I'm not sure if we'll go past it though. Look on the daily time frame. We did get quite an aggressive wick there. So overall, just basically indecision there on the daily. So not too much information for us from that candle closure. We still do have this trend line intact here. So I did say we were looking for a test of this trend line, which hasn't actually hit yet. So first, second, third. Technically, if you draw the trend line here, so it connects that point there, then it looks like it has actually touched that trend line. But if you connect it with just this point here, it hasn't. So overall, I still see downside for GBNZD. We're still respecting this key level of resistance. Still respecting that key level resistance. Bit of a false breakout there coming to the retest. Price is still looking bearish down the daily. So yeah, I'm seeing more downside for this pair. I think if we get above this trend line here, then that might lead us to higher prices. But right now, I think only to the downside, back into that support. And then if you do see that momentum come through into that trend line there as well. Pound AUD, again, similar analysis for this one as well. Big spike down, big spike up. And then we've got this support here in the market as well, which we did fail to break through. Nice wick below, and then did take off quite aggressively higher. Bit of indecision, strong candle closure to the downside. So momentum is there. We are closing into this support. So GPND is a little bit clearer than GPAUD. If GPAUD can break through this support, it closed that down the 4H, then I do see this gap here getting filled. This gap here getting filled back down to that support, and maybe even further. Because again, GPAUD and GPND do tend to move in the same direction, in the same way. So if GPND is going to fall, there's a good chance GPAUD is going to fall as well. You can see in the daily candle closure there for GPAUD, not the best candle closures for looking for sells. Obviously it can still go down, but with that big wick there and actually closing bullish, yeah, that could be meaning that price is rejecting that support, and wants to go higher. But we still do have these wicks here, so wicks fall, wicks there. So overall, I'll just take that as an indecision down the daily. But we do have that support, so I think the safest opportunity for pound AUD, probably wait for this support to break, and then on the retest fill that gap to the downside, and then potentially new lows after that. But if it doesn't break that, GPAUD might just find support and continue higher, and then that means GPND might break through that trend line and continue higher as well. So wait for those confirmations, but I do see downside. If it does break through that trend line, then upside. If GPAUD does hold that support and continues, then yeah, we're looking at highs as well for that one. Back up to 185, 1.85, maybe even higher. USD JPY, sure thing. We'll take a look at that now. So USD JPY, we did see price push to the downside quite aggressively yesterday, back into the support here. This is kind of like our last higher low. So if the market was to break through this, then we'll probably consider the market get overall turn bearish. But so far, it's holding on to that area. So far, we are still bullish for USD JPY. That's a big shift in momentum there, so you can see very small body candles and a big shift in momentum, strong candle closure there at 10 a.m. So it does look like the US dollar against the Japanese yen wants to take another push to the upside, and if it does play out, we should be back at these highs here. We did break through this trend line, which I was looking at. So again, I was looking at connecting these 3 points here. We've broken that, but the key thing is that we need to break structure, and right now we haven't broken through that level. As you can see, still holding on to that same support. So for me, with that strong reaction there, I personally will be looking for buys. USD not really on my watch list, but if I was to trade it, I would be looking for buys. So if the market was to retrace a little bit, maybe on the smaller time frames, could be taking advantage of that move to the upside there. Of course, if it does hold up, and you can see there on the daily, we've come back to that previous low there as well. So we could potentially be looking at more buys to the upside. Had a nice wick just below that same area as well. So yeah, more buys to the upside for USD. Nice shift in momentum. Waiting for a bit of a pullback, see if we can form a higher low maybe on that hourly, and then yeah, buys back up to this level here. Of course, you don't have to hold onto your trade for that long, but potentially if the market does play out, that's where we should be going. Hi William, how are you doing? Hope you are doing well. What trades are you in? A horror story. What happened? What happened? Did you blow your account? No, I'm just joking. Yeah, so I was looking at pound JPY as well yesterday for some shorts. I didn't get into any for this one. I believe we were trading around this area here on the live stream, and then we're looking for shorts. Again, we had targets, one here, second target here, and the third target, which we still haven't reached yet, is all the way down here for pound JPY. So I still see more downside for pound JPY, all the way back down to 151,400, maybe even 151 on the dot. Right now, I think we're in retracement mode because we did kind of melt to the downside, and the market does need to retrace. So it does look like here we just got a double top with a bit of a spike through there, a bit of a manipulation. A lot of conviction to the downside. I took pound USD instead of pound JPY, so there's no real point for me to take both of them, because the success of both trades is correlated. If I was to take both, they both work or fail. So I just decided to take pound USD, which looked a little bit clearer to me. So yeah, pound JPY, I think it's in retracement mode. It might retrace back to this level here, price support, now resistance, and then from there we might collapse again to the downside. But anyway, our bias is very much the downside for this one, and I still do think we can go and reach these lows down there. If I zoom out, probably see which level I'm talking about. That support all the way down there. So yeah, more sells for pound JPY. Right now, I don't think it's time to sell. We're still a little bit bullish here, so probably wait for price to retrace a little bit, and then the continuation can come through. Oh, deep. Yeah, unlucky. Yeah, the spread did kick in. It kicked in the night before as well, quite aggressively. Like the pips were quite mad. A lot of like pound AUD. The spread for that, I didn't see how many pips, but it was quite big. Okay, so you took quite a few trades then. Euro JPY, CHF JPY, GJ. So is Euro JPY, CHF JPY, and pound JPY are all shorts? Yeah, all sells. Pound CAD long. Yeah, pound CAD did take a big push to the upside, which I was not expecting, to be fair. You can see that quite a big candle closure there. I was selling around in that area there yesterday. Did get stopped out after that move. And as you can see, I think because of the CAD weakness, of course. But yeah, that was quite a big move to the upside. And now, very strong candle there on the daily. So it does look like pound CAD wants to make a move to the upside here. Again, nice strong break of that trend line. And if you can come back for a retest, which it does look like it's trying to do, hasn't quite come there yet, but has come into that vicinity. So yeah, pound CAD does look good for potential buys there. Quite an aggressive push to the upside. Nice daily candle closure. We should be seeing a push at least back into these highs here, and if you can break them, then yeah, we can go a lot further. But yeah, overall still looking quite bullish here for pound CAD. Euro JPY, yeah, we were talking about those pairs, about the JPY pairs for shorts. Again, a nice daily candle closure there as well. So again, clearing that support there. Probably have a first target there for Euro JPY, just because it might bounce and potentially, it could send you back, send price back to your entry. But overall, yeah, I do agree, Euro JPY more shorts for this one. I do see more lows past 130 area, maybe back to this area here. Very strong move to the upside, as you can see. We did consolidate here for some time, and then we had a big colossal move to the upside, all the way up to 134 from 130. So I do see the price coming back down, testing this area, maybe wicking past it, and then we might see some upside or whatever. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, Euro JPY does look good for more shorts back down into this support just underneath 130. CHF JPY, yeah, that one as well. Still expecting that strength in the yen. So yeah, similar price action really, to be fair. Euro JPY, CHF JPY, similar price action there. Nice wick rejections there as well. So obviously price is struggling to push on. And again, we had a nice key area here where the market consolidated and had a big colossal move to the upside. So again, I think that's where price could potentially come to before maybe seeing some upside after that. So yeah, I do agree, CHF JPY shorts as well. And pound JPY shorts, yeah, we were looking at pound JPY yesterday as well. So yeah, shorts were definitely on for this one. I still do see pound JPY getting back down to 151, maybe even further. If we are turning bearish, potentially could be seeing price come back down to the 150 area even. So there is a lot of room to the downside for pound JPY after the recent, big rally to the upside. So, retracement is definitely overdue for pound JPY, and potentially it could be a trade that you leave for a good amount of time if it does play out. And we do see pound JPY turn bearish on the higher time frames, but right now daily looking good for sells there. Nice wick to the upside, so yeah, expecting more downside for pound JPY and all those JPY pairs. So looks like good trades there. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all about risk reward at the end of the day. 30 pips, yeah, it is a little bit of a hit, but when you do trade the daily time frame, you do catch more pips. So if either of those trades play out, it should make back those 30 pips. But I know that would have hurt because it's not like a failed trade or anything. It's just the spread was just on a crazy one, and it does happen when you're watching the Euros. So yeah, so people on the lower time frames, I think pound JPY could be some good shorts coming up, either later today or maybe tomorrow morning, or potentially overnight even as well. But yeah, more shorts for this one back down to these lows. If you're looking for possible entries for this one, I think around the 153 100 area, price support here, now term resistance anywhere around here, anywhere around there basically. I think we'd be good for some shorts there for pound JPY. I think we're seeing that retracement now after that big drop we had yesterday, so it looks like 4 hours kind of in retracement mode. If I dive onto the hourly time frame, you can see we're in retracement mode there. You can see that the conviction from these candles is very aggressive, and all these candles here are very, very choppy. We're seeing a lot of mixture between bearish and bullish and wicks all over the place. So this is clear retracement, and that's clear, impulsive price action. So when we do retrace to the upside, we can treat that as retracement with confidence, and when we do get a nice bearish confirmation, we can look to sell that down and target this support down there, or maybe even further, depending on your targets for that trade. But I don't think I will get involved because I'm already in pound USD, so I'll just see how that trade works out, and it should kind of correlate to pound JPY anyway. So yeah, I probably won't get involved in this pair, but if I wasn't involved in pound USD, then pound JPY is definitely a pair I would have on my watch list, and definitely a pair I'll be looking to get into some shorts. But yeah, currently pushing to the upside, but again, nothing to worry about. It's kind of not even at that area of interest yet. So yeah, retracement and then more continuation. I think a lot of the pairs that did see a big drop yesterday, so like the NSD pairs, AD pairs, the JPY pairs, CAD as well, we're seeing retracement now early this morning. I think we'll see the conviction maybe later today, or maybe overnight or in the morning tomorrow. Okay, nice. So we're basically, so you're just going to hold on to your original trades, and the new entries are just short-term trades. That's nice. That's nice, to be fair. Because again, your original entries will probably be a lot further from where price is trading at. So any wicks or any manipulations shouldn't stop you out or anything. So yeah, that does look good there, John. So I'm currently in the NGU as well. Currently pushing to the upside, but yeah, nothing to worry about really. You can see the conviction here to the downside. If I was to stick a fib on that move there, actually no, if I stick on the top actually, you can see it hasn't even reached 0.382 yet. So this strong bullish candle there, nothing really to worry about. Really, the market's still retracing for me. We might see another spike higher and then the continuation. But yeah. We're at a very strong area of support, so we're likely going to see a push to the upside anyway. You can see in the 4 hour, very strong 4 hour candle closure there, so again, nothing really to worry about. Daily as well, nice candle closure as well. We could obviously continue higher and push on, but at the moment, there's nothing really much to worry about. Same thing with EURUSD as well. For this one, kind of still retracement mode. You can see the price action here. Very small bodies, wicks all over the shop. A lot of momentum there. So we might be seeing a bit of a spike higher first. Grab some liquidity, stop people out, maybe tap into that zone there, and then see the continuation lower. So yeah, I would not be. Not be surprised if the market did spike to the higher, tap into this resistance or maybe even higher, and then did the follow through to the downside, because all of this is consolidation. All that is just basically noise coming from the Asian session overnight. So yeah, we could see a bit of manipulation and then the drop lower, but right now there's nothing there for EURUSD, but our bias is very much still to the downside, well, mine anyway, and I think we can come into this zone here on the daily time frame. So that zone there on the daily time frame, I think we can tap into 1.7800 area, maybe even through it as well. But I think we can tap into this area, and then we might see some bigger retracement, because if you do look back, EURUSD did take a big plummet, and it still hasn't retraced much of that move. So we might come here to see a bit more retracement, and then a bigger leg to the downside later on. But for now, EURUSD, I think more shorts, but right now it is not ready for that yet. Next, take a look at CAD-JPY. So CAD-JPY, another pair that we were looking in. We were looking at yesterday, looking for shorts. I was comparing CAD-JPY to pound-JPY, and we're throwing pound because Canadian dollar, has got some fundamentals. So we wanted to dodge that bullet and just stick with the pound, because I don't think the pound has got any fundamentals this week. Last time I checked, might need to check again just to be sure, but I don't think it does. So that's why we're favoring the pound over the CAD. But again, it's the same move, CAD-JPY, pound-JPY, both partnered with the Japanese yen. So if you do see that strength come through this week for the Japanese yen, which we are seeing, then yeah, CAD-JPY, I do expect to see back at these lows. And same thing with pound-JPY as well. Right now, big collapse to the downside, retracement of that. Again, if I get a Fibonacci out, you can see we're not at the 0.382 yet. So there's still a lot of room to the upside to retrace, find resistance and then come back down. So potentially more sells for that one as well. But again, focusing more on the pound-JPY for that one anyway, but it's the same concept. Looking for that strength in the Japanese yen and more continuation to the downside. Euro-JPY, similar one for that one as well. We did see that conviction to the downside yesterday. This one's fall to the downside a lot further than the pound, because again, euro is a lot weaker than the pound so far. I think that might be changing soon, but so far it is. We do have a nice area of support here in the market, so we could potentially see the market climb back up to this area here and then sell off again, which is a great place to look for some shorts there for Euro-JPY on the lower time frames. And again, we can look to target this price support around the 130 area, or support previously on the daily around the 129,800 area. But nonetheless, we're looking for those shorts for Euro-JPY back at that resistance. So you can get a nice tap into it, hopefully later today, but again, it might happen overnight or next morning. So yeah, keep maybe alert on that or some reminders, but Euro-JPY shorts do look good for that pair. And again, Euro-USD looks good for shorts as well, and they both do tend to move quite similar. Not completely similar, but in terms of which direction they move, they normally do move in similar directions. So yeah, Euro-JPY, I think we'll see some nice conviction lower, but first we'll see a bit more retracement, and I think we'll see the drop later on. NZJPY, another pair that I'm looking at for potential shorts as well. Again, another JPY pair. We did see a nice conviction lower to the downside yesterday, so I did see a nice big spike higher. Now we see the big spike lower. We were trading at this area of resistance here, I think yesterday or the day before, potentially Monday, before this big push. So again, a lot of people potentially selling at this area here. Then we saw the spike higher, taking out those orders and their stop losses, and then again at this resistance here, a lot of people would have been selling at this resistance up there, and again this wick here would have taken out their stops as well. And after that, we do see the momentum, the conviction lower, so giving us that false breakout. So now I think we're in retracement mode. and just waiting for that retracement to be over. I've highlighted these two areas here potentially where the market could retrace to. So we've got price support here in the market, which is now term resistance, which the market is still holding on to technically. So we'll look at the price action there on maybe the hourly time frame. Or if it does break through that, then we do have this trend line up here. So support twice, third time now will be flipped to resistance. So two kind of areas looking for shorts here, and the targets will be, you know, this prior low. It's got to be the first target here for NZJPY. Second target will be this low here, and the third target will be this low, and the fourth this low there. So if we're going to daily, you'll probably see that low better. So yeah, that daily area there. Again, this is pretty much a bit of a long-term trade. You know, it might take till next week to pan out, but you know, in terms of risk to reward, it does look very, very, very good depending on what time frame you catch it on. But nonetheless, it does look like a good move to the downside for NZJPY. So yeah, I will be focusing on this pair as well for potential shorts, rather than pound JPY, because I'm already in pound USD, so I don't want to be in too many pound pairs at one time. But yeah, NZJPY does look good for sells. So far it's a little bit strong, so you know, on the sidelines seeing what price can do, but I want to see some conviction on the hourly time frame, you know, at these areas. So at this area here or at that area there, maybe a nice false break or something. As you can see down the hourly time frame, we had a nice big push to the upside, two small body candles there, small bearish candle, so not much bearish momentum there, and as you can see, we're still pushing up. So I want to see some strength with the bears before I look to enter, and yeah, the risk to reward in this trade does look very good if it does play out. So do have my eyes on NZJPY for shorts, and potential targeting this daily low all the way down there as well if it does play out. Yesterday I was talking about NZCAD and AUDCAD for potential longs, but I did say wait for those daily candle closures, because it might pull back. And as you can see on the daily, this one it has pulled back actually quite a lot. I had this trend line drawn in at the time, connecting this wick here, so 1, 2, you know, all these wicks here, all those wicks there as well. And I think at the time of the live stream, we were trading around this area here, this point here in the market. And I did say if we do get strong daily candle closure, we can wait for a bit of retracement back to this area here, you know, prior resistance now turns support, and then we can look for longs targeting some of these wicks up there on the low time frames. However, as you can see, by the end of the day, we did pull back quite substantially. We did still technically close above that trend line, but for me, that's not very not very strong close. You want to see price, you know, clear it by a good amount of distance there. So that for me, I'm not really treating that as a breakout. Yeah, I want to see another daily close above, and then that I'll treat as a breakout of that trend line. So yeah, I'm not going to be looking for longs anymore for AUDCAD after that pullback there. I know the current daily candle is still bullish, but that could easily flip bearish, you know, by the end of the day. So those AUDCAD longs are now invalid. Yeah, live stream. Yeah, we do have a live stream tomorrow, Thursday, same time, 10 a.m. GMT to 12 p.m. GMT. So make sure you are there for that, guys. Yeah, recently did a poll for me to do live streams on the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or just Tuesday and Wednesday. I think a lot of people did vote for Thursday as well. So yeah, from this week, we'll be doing Thursday live streams as well. So yeah, giving you guys a bit more analysis throughout the week, now on Thursday as well. So hopefully we'll see a lot of you guys tomorrow. And NZCAD as well. So yeah, NZCAD a bit more convincing that daily close. We did pull back quite a lot, but we did see some nice daily candle close were quite bullish, and we did see a break of resistance here. So we do highlight that area. We did see a break of that resistance there. So the market does look quite good for some new longs. But again, because of that AUDCAD's not quite synced up, I'll probably be a bit hesitant to get involved in this trade, because I do like having, you know, those two correlated pairs, ADCAD and NZDCAD, lining up at the same time and just picking the best one. Because normally when I do find out that the pairs don't correlate, the success of the trades don't always pan out as well as when they do correlate. And that's the same for like Euro USD, Pound USD. You know, those pairs do correlate quite a bit as well. So when they do correlate, you know, good trades. Or gold and silver, when they correlate as well, good trades. But ADCAD and NZCAD are not quite correlating for me just yet, so I'll be on the sidelines. But if they did, I'll probably be looking for an opportunity to go along this pair. Nice area of resistance here, so if the market did pull back onto this area here, start holding as support, then I would be looking for longs, you know, targeting kind of this area around here. That area around there, and then potentially further if we could get a break. But yeah, won't be looking at NZDCAD or ADCAD anymore. See how today's candle closes, and then make my judgment from there. No problem, Patrick, no problem. I mean, I do enjoy the live streams anyway, guys, so if you do enjoy the live streams as well, just let me know, because it does kind of help me out to see I'm on the right track with the live streams for you guys. So I'm providing for you guys with the right, you know, analysis, information, and you are actually finding it useful rather than me just, you know, talking. Euro GBP, we did see quite a big push to the upside for this one. This pair, very, very choppy. You can see them on the daily. Probably not the most attractive pair to trade right now, but it does have some clarity behind it. You can see overall we are still bearish. Overall still hanging onto that trend line there. We've seen numerous wick rejections, so you know, all across here we've tested that trend line numerous times. And if I do scale down to the lower time frames, you can see we did see a nice big push down, and then a big push there, so a very strong bullish candle there. So the market is definitely holding on to this support, failing to break through it so far. Obviously we could come back down again, test it again, and eventually go break it, but so far it is holding on to that support. We do have price support here, now time resistance, so all of this area was support, now it's time resistance, so potentially that's what the market is holding on to. And if it does do that, then I can see a move back down into the support to come and test it. Again, not sure if we'll get a break after that big strong reaction we had yesterday, but I think the move back down to that support does look quite likely. I'll probably wait for this candle, 4H candle, to close there, as bearish it is right now, and then wait for some pullbacks on the lower time frames after that candle closure, because here it's looking like a good, you know, big move up. People might be buying that, get excited that it's going up, and then we do see the candle flip bearish quite quickly. So that is often a good sign that the market could be on its way back down. But I just want to see how that candle closes first to get that confirmation, and then maybe you can either take on that candle or drop into the lower time frames, refine the entry, you know, and get a better risk to reward. And yeah, targets back at that support do look quite good, and maybe even further. But if this candle does pull back and then, you know, flips bearish and ends up breaking through this resistance, then I think Euro GBP could be slowly creeping its way back up to this resistance up here, and maybe start a range or even break higher. So always wait for those candle closures to get those confirmations, because back in the day I used to get too excited and just get into trades when I see the market, you know, looking quite bearish or quite bullish, just because of my fear of missing out. I didn't want to miss out on the trade, because as it was pushing up, you know, I was telling the candle, don't push up, because, you know, less pips to catch, less pips for me to, you know, catch on a trade. So I'd always end up going long, and then 10 minutes later, when the candle does actually close, it's pull back, maybe even flip bearish, or, you know, give me a big wick, and the trade is not really there to begin with. So always make sure you wait for the candle closures. Big lesson to learn, and all it is just patience, really, to be fair. So it's just patience. But yeah, so wait for that candle to close, and then potentially you could see some shorts to the downside for Euro GBP. USD CAD, we did see a very big move to the upside for this pair. Remember, guys, on my live stream I did say it does look like the market is holding that area of support yesterday. So we were in this area here. We tested it once, I think on Monday, and then we came back again during the live stream. So once on Monday, nice bullish reaction, came back again. Then we saw a very aggressive reaction to the upside. So that was a good insight for us, saying that the market is holding on to this support, and with that good shift of momentum. So strong bearish momentum coming here, strong bullish momentum coming back up, is telling us that the market is just having a false move to the downside. So people are getting excited. Shorting those bearish candles, and then quickly flip the momentum on them, and then we see that big shift back to bullish. So that's telling me that the market is, struggling to break through that support. So we should see the market, move in the other direction. And then again, we had some very weak CAD, which did help this pair really move to the upside. It wasn't just the strength of the US dollar, the weakness of the CAD did really help this pair out. As you can see, a very big move to the upside. I did say it can look to target this area here, but as you can see, it's just smashed that already. It didn't really give me any opportunity really to get involved in that, unless you got long there. But yeah, it just took off to the upside. Probably gave us some new highs there as well. Yeah, it did. Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, so 100%. Can do it more often, and those confirmations are very, very important as well. Very important. But yeah, USD CAD back at that resistance. Can see some retracement now potentially for this pair. But I think it's just going to be retracement. So if we do see another drop lower, I think it's likely just going to be retracement. Wait for the market to find support. I think more buys back up to those highs again, back up to 1.25 and maybe even higher. So yeah, USD CAD firm bias to the upside. I still think we can go a lot further. I think if I do zoom out onto the daily time frame for my weekly analysis, I do remember USD CAD is kind of stuck at a trend line recently, so I connect these wicks here. So yeah, USD CAD has been stuck at a trend line recently. So you can see first, second, third. We've seen a fourth test. If I just clear all that up, to be fair. So we've seen a fourth test here, a fifth test there, and actually now we've seen a daily candle close above it. Again, not the strongest candle closure. I want to see a bit more conviction there on the candle closure, but it is giving us a sign that the market potentially wants to break through this trend line and go a lot further. And like I said, when we did have this big push here, I do see the market eventually getting back all the way up to here 1.26500 and maybe even further. So I'm still standing by that analysis. I still think USD CAD can slowly make its way up to here, and if that's the case, on the lower time frames we can just take apart with those pullbacks and just ride that to the upside. So if that bullish trend does continue, any movement to the downside is likely just to be a pullback. Wait for the market to find support, and I think we can ride this all the way up to this resistance here, because you can see this here looks like potentially it's not a reversal yet, but potentially it could be, because we had this big colossal move to the downside. We've lost all that bearish momentum and slowly built up with that bullish momentum, giving us that bowl shape, and now we're seeing the conviction higher. So if this is potentially the reversal, we should be coming into this resistance here quite nicely. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting for USD CAD. Currently right now we're at that trend line, so it is experiencing a little bit of struggle, but once we've broken through that, I think it's onwards and upwards for USD CAD, back up to that resistance up there. So yeah, more upside for USD CAD, but like I said, currently if I do jump back to the 4H, we are stuck at that resistance right now. So any buys right now, probably not a good idea. Maybe on the lower time frames, like scalping wise maybe, but in terms of looking for swings in the market, not the best idea right now. Maybe we want to see a bit of a pullback, maybe onto that trend line, or maybe even further. If you do get a fib from there, from this low to here, 50% is around here, so potentially could even see the market fall back to those areas there and then see the continuation. But nonetheless, if we do see the market drop to the downside, just get ready for some buys, I reckon, and then we could target these highs again and maybe even further. So USD CAD, more upside for that pair. USD CHF, similar for this pair as well. Big move to the upside recently there on the 4H. USD didn't give us that colossal move to the upside that USD CAD did. Again, USD CAD was helped by that CAD weakness. You can see USD CHF, we did see a bit of a move up, but as you can see, we are having a bit of a tough time to continue that momentum. We do have some prior resistance, which is now support now. So we'll see what happens with the market there. As you can see, nice resistance there, all those wicks. Resistance there again, and now acting as support. So if the market can hold into this area, I think, or maybe give us some nice wicks below, now I think we can be seeing that continuation back up again, back into the resistance up there, and maybe even further. So USD does look quite good for some buys. As of right now, a little bit too bearish for me. If I go on 1H, yeah, a little bit too bearish for me. All those wicks don't look good as well. They're all collecting around this area here. So if I was to get involved, I probably want to see a nice spike below this area here, and the market come back up again, and then wait for some confirmations, and then look to buy. And I think probably got around, what was it? Yeah, around 40 pips to the upside. So if you can get a nice, 10 pip stop loss, that's a 1 to 4 risk to reward. So it does look good for those buys. So UCCHF, I'll probably wait for a spike of those wicks there, of those lows, and then the move higher. But overall, if we do hang on to this support, I do think UCCHF should be on another move higher. I think the CHF, the Swiss franc right now is a little bit strong, hence why UCCHF is having a bit of a hard time to push on right now, but that could change quite quickly. Later today we could see a really weak Swiss franc, and that could give us the extra help we need to see UCCHF back at those highs. But yeah, if we do hold into that support there, buys do look good, but again, a wick just through those previous wicks below it would look quite good there, a bit of a false move, and then we see the conviction after that. Gold for this pair, I did say yesterday that we could be in for a move lower for this pair, because we did break through this resistance here, and I said we could come back for a retest of it, which we did do there, and we were holding on to this area here. I said we're probably going to test this area, come back down, retest this area here. I wasn't sure if the market was going to hold or break through though. I was just expecting to see a dive lower, which we did see, but the market is now pushing back up, which is quite interesting, which means it might turn bullish for a little bit longer then, if it's now holding that as support. On the daily, you can see a nice move up. We're seeing that conviction higher. We do have prior support, now resistance there, which did give quite a big move to the upside, all the way up to 1910. So it'll be interesting to see what the market wants to do with this area. Already yesterday, you can see a nice wick into that area, push back down. So we are seeing some exhaustion there. The momentum is dying to the upside. So interesting to see how this day candle closes again for gold, and then potentially some shorts could be back on for gold as well, targeting maybe some levels a little bit further on. We do have this area of support right here, could look to target. So if the market comes back up here, starts failing to break through it again, could look for some shorts targeting that support there again. If we can get a break, we can go all the way back down to that support there as well. So gold still does have that big drop, which we had a few weeks ago now, and I think that momentum is just, I think this is all just retracement here for gold. All of that is just retracement, so I still do see that momentum coming back again to the downside very soon. Whether it will give us the new lows, I'm not too sure, but I do still see a nice drop for gold soon eventually, because of this price action is very, very choppy. Not a lot of momentum in the markets. This move here has clearly got the momentum behind it, so the market, I think, is just taking a bit of a breather, and then we'll see the conviction lower after that. So as of right now, I think gold is in retracement mode, pushing back up to our key level of resistance. So we'll see what happens there again, see if you can get some nice conviction there, some nice rejection, maybe in the low time frames, and then can short gold back down to this support here. And if you can get a break, then that support there. So 17.95, then 17.72. But as of right now, still bullish. So probably just keep gold on the watch list, keep your eyes on it, but nothing there yet for this pair. Okay, so we've got AUD JPY here. Again, another pair that I think is on its way down. Big move to the upside, big move back down again. So a nice false break similar to NZJPY. People selling at this resistance here on the lower time frames. Big spike up, big spike down. You know, their trades, if they were shorting here, you know, would have been correct, but they would have got stopped out first before the market did go in their direction. So I think we're going to see some retracement now after that momentum to the downside, and I think after that we can actually see the market push lower back down to this support here. So again, similar to NZJPY as well, similar to the same setup really. And then yeah, back to those lows, 82 area, then maybe even further as well, give us some new lows. So ADJPY against shorts, we're still looking for that strength in the Japanese yen. I still can see that conviction lower, but retracement mode right now. We do have price support across here. As you can see, this was the last place the market found support before dumping to the downside. So potentially you could see the market crawl to the upside, come and test this area up here, which is around 83,500. And then from there, we can look for our confirmations. And then yes, see the market turn bearish. First target will have to be that prior low, because it could, you know, find support here, give us a double bottom and see some upside there. So that would have to be the first target, take some profit around there. Then if you can get a break, second target will be this support all the way down there, 82 area. Then some new lows, maybe at 82 on the dot. So AUDJPY, NZJPY, kind of the same trade, kind of the same situation, same setup pretty much. Don't need to take both of them, just pick the best one. For me right now, I'm focusing on the NZJPY, looking for shorts for that one. Again, multiple targets here. Another reason why I'm favoring the New Zealand dollar is because this one's got a bit more mileage on it. I think for this one, we could see it move all the way down to this support down here. And again, if I do measure that, it's about 200 pips. Whereas if I go to AUDJPY, you know, it's around 100 pips, so you know it's about twice as much. So that's why I'm favoring that move. Of course, AUDJPY could go a lot further, but there's no real level that I'm looking at that kind of lines up with my analysis, whereas the New Zealand dollar does. So I am focusing on that pair. And like I said, on the hourly time frame, I want to see a nice conviction lower, some nice momentum. You can see that bullish candle there that just closed at 11 GMT. Closed bullish, closing at some new highs past those prices there. So overall, NZJPY is still technically bullish right now, but I want to see that big shift in momentum, and then potentially could get involved in some shorts there and see if price can go a lot lower. So we'll keep my eye out there for the next hourly candle close, and you know, potentially see if we can get a trade later today for this one. Or like I said, if it does break past this area, we do have that trend line up there we could look at getting some tests of. So if we do push on, so we do have this trend line here with first, second, third. If we do push on into that trend line, get a third test of that area as resistance, so break and retest essentially, we can look at some shorts from that area as well. And again, that's just a better risk to reward anyway. So if it does do that, that's perfectly fine. But same trade. Always looking for those shorts for NZJPY unless we get back above this area here, which is this resistance. So if we get back above and start holding as support, you know, that will probably change my analysis, and then I'll probably change my bias as well. But as of yet, only looking for sells for NZJPY. We take a look at some of the CHF pairs. So we've got Euro CHF here. Overall, this pair is still looking quite bearish. We did see a big collapse to the downside. I believe that was last week. Yeah, that was last week. So a big collapse to the downside. And then we see some consolidation, which is just retracement again, because you can see the difference in price action. Strong bearish candles here. And now we're seeing bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. A lot of wicks there. So overall indecision. So you can see there's a big shift in price action, and now we're seeing the follow through to the downside. Of course, it's not as strong as this move. That's the first kind of impulse, but we are seeing the conviction lower. And where do I think it can go? No, around this area here, and potentially that support all the way down there as well. So more downside for Euro CHF. We might be seeing a pullback on the lower time frame, so potential entries there. We've just broken through this support here in the market, so it will be now turn resistance. So it could be a break and retest entry there potentially. Not my favorite type of entries, to be honest with you, but it does work. It does work. I don't particularly like it. I'd rather catch the trade here than catch the break and retest, but it does work over time. Of course, wait for those confirmations as well. But yeah, USCHF, more shorts for this one, potentially to this area here and those lows down there. Pound CHF for this one, more downside as well, but I think this one will currently at a very strong area of support. As you can see here in the market, very strong area of support, big reactions to the upside, also strong area of resistance as well. So the market is essentially, consolidating for pound CHF, struggling to break through that resistance, struggling to break through that support. If we can break through the support, which I do think is the way that the market wants to go, then yeah, I can see some downside back down to these lows all the way down here. Maybe past that as well, maybe even further, but it does look like that. You can see on the daily time frame, the market did give us quite a nice wick to the upside, give us a shooting star. So yeah, I'm favouring more downside for pound CHF, but we do need to break through this key level of support down the daily, which is currently having a really hard time to do so. So yeah, more downside for pound CHF right now. I think it's having a bit of a pullback, so yeah, a bit of retracement, and then I think we can move lower back down to this area here, maybe that area down there as well. So for this one, the break-in retest does make a lot more sense, or if we do push back into this area here, then yeah, that makes more sense as well, looking for shorts from up there. Ready at USD CHF, CAD CHF for this one, big collapse to the downside again. Like I said, we did see that weakness in the Canadian dollar yesterday, and we did have quite a big drop here for CAD CHF, breaking through those lows. So the market does look like it wants to turn bearish here, especially with that daily candle closure there, closing below those lows, all those wick rejections into this same area. So all those wicks there, let's put over 10 at least for those wicks. So yeah, if CAD CHF does hold this area, which it does look likely, we should be pushing back down into this support here, and maybe even further, if the market does want to reverse, because it's having such a hard time to push on. So yeah, CAD CHF I think is another pair in retracement mode after that big collapse to the downside. Again, if I was to stick another fib on that, you can see we do have the 0.382, 50%, 0.618 all up there. So the market does definitely have some room to the upside to move to before coming back down. But again, if it does move higher, it's likely just to be retraced. And if you do see the market, give some nice bearish confirmations, it's probably just another good opportunity to get involved in some shorts to take this lower. Opportunities for this one might not happen later today. It might be tomorrow or potentially Friday, because CAD CHF does take its time when it does move. But when it does have that kick, it does get going sometimes, but it is definitely a pair that does tend to consolidate and has a hard time moving around. So this one might take its time to give a nice opportunity for, but when it does, I think we could be in for a nice move to the downside. And like I said, potentially back down to these previous lows down there. So there's a lot more room to the downside for CAD CHF, but I think for now we're in retracement mode. And then, find one of those fib levels or some price support resistance. There's some nice support time resistance around there, and then could see the drop lower. But right now the market, hasn't retraced enough for us to get involved. So we'll be on the sidelines and wait to see some pullback, maybe late today, tomorrow, or Friday. Next, going to take a look at ADNZD. So for this is another very choppy pair. I do not like trading, to be fair. You can see the way it moves. It's a little bit all over the place, and when I do trade it, the trades normally take forever to play out, just because it loves to consolidate. You can see here this drop to the downside, consolidate for ages before seeing the continuation. So I tend to stay away from ADNZD. It does trade quite well. It does follow price action quite well. It does form some nice higher highs and higher lows. It does stick to structure quite well. It just takes forever to play out and does consolidate a lot. And also it does give quite a lot of wicks as well. But anyway, for this one, we are falling to the downside again. We have taken out this area support here, very key level of support. You can see the market held that quite nicely. Big strong move above, below that area, and now we're back holding that area as resistance again. So if the market does keep this up, struggles to break through, then I can see another move back lower again, potentially back into that support as well, or maybe even further, because this time it had that conviction. Now I'm just treating this as retracement, and now this is the continuation. So again, as long as we hold that as resistance there, which so far we are doing, more shorts for ADNZD. So for opportunities for this one, if you're willing to trade it, another retracement back into here, see what price action we get, maybe some few wicks there, similar to what we've had all across here, and then yeah, shorts back down to these lows here, or at least to that support there as well, because price has rejected that area quite well. So yeah, ADNZD, I think more shorts for this one, at that resistance, see if you can hold it. If you break back into it, then I'll probably have to analyze it again, see what's happening with the pair, maybe change my bias potentially, but as of right now, yeah, it's looking bearish. So bit of retracement, then we'll probably see the continuation, but yeah, this might take forever to play out anyway. No, I don't really, no, I don't trade that. I just trade kind of support and resistance, and structure really. High highs, high lows. I don't really focus too much on that, to be fair, and I find that a lot of my trades kind of line up with ICT anyway, to be fair. So no, I don't really use that, but it does look like a good trading strategy though anyway. So if you do use it, keep using it if it's working for you, but it does look like a good trading strategy. It's just that I don't use it personally. So yeah, still currently in pound USD, looking for shorts for this one. Pound USD's had quite a strong reaction from that support, very strong close there on the hourly. So far, I'm not going to exit my trade right now, and potentially could push on quite aggressively. So if it was to do that, push on, maybe clear this resistance quite well, then I'll probably consider closing the trade out after taking my profit there. But I'm still trying to hold on for a move back down into these lows here, which I still think can happen. But yeah, I'm probably going to go off more of the 4-hour close than I'm going to do with the hourly close. So yeah, we could push on. We do have some support term resistance here, so that could be an area the market pulls into, but I'm not gonna exit this one too early. Yeah, I do agree, Chia. GU does look quite bullish there, but at this moment in time, it's still holding onto this resistance right now, and I'm probably going to wait for a few more candle closures before I decide to close this one, because I think GU, with this big drop to be seen to the downside, I think all of this price action is just retracement. Yeah, and we're going to see the move lower. So if this was to turn bullish, I want to see some real conviction higher. We did see some conviction with that bullish candle there, but I want to see it break through, close very strongly, and then yeah, I'll probably decide to close it after that. But right now I think it's still bearish technically for me. So yeah, still holding for a move back down to that area. Yeah, it does look like that with that strong impulsive move there. So, GU can turn bullish again. This is an area that, I have highlighted for a reason. Potentially it could turn bullish from this area and go up, even though I think it's coming down. It still could do that. That's why I did take profit from that level. And if you do break to the upside, the market does turn bullish. At the end of the day, we don't have control over the market. The market does what it wants. We just take what we can from the market. So yeah, if the market does turn bullish, then then it does that. Then we'll just exit our trade and look for trades elsewhere. But yeah, so far for me, there's no reason just yet. We still do have that resistance there. If I just move this out of the way, actually, we still do have this resistance here in the market here. So For me, there's no real reason to get out just yet. We still have resistance holding. Resistance holds in the bearish market, support holds in the bullish market. So we'll wait to see what happens there. And then I might make another judgment at the end of this candle closure as well. But like I did say for EUR/USD, I think we can see a spike higher first for this one. Maybe a spike higher into this, because all of this looks like a lot of consolidation here. So EUR/USD, my bias is still firmly to the downside. Still see some new lows with this one, but we might spike higher back into this resistance and then collapse. Just to, take out people's stop losses and then see a nice change of momentum. Or of course we could just break to the downside anyway. But for now, I might expect a wick to the upside, then the move. But we'll see what happens, see what type of candles we're getting, and then make our judgment there. But yeah, EUR/USD, I still think new lows for that one. Same thing for the pound, still thinking new lows for that one. But as you can see, comparing the EUR/USD to the pound USD, pound is obviously a lot stronger than the euro right now, because they're both partnered against the US dollar, and EUR/USD is taking a bit of a dive. When the hourly was pound USD is looking quite strong, so GBP is looking quite strong. You can see Euro GBP there looking very weak, so it definitely does confirm euro being weaker than the pound. So overall, I still do see pound USD falling, but euro is really weak compared to the pound anyway, so that's probably why it's looking a lot better. But then again, like I said, we could still see that false break to the upside and then the conviction lower there, back to that support to now turn resistance, and then the drop. But as of yet, still consolidating. So we'll stay on the sideline, see what type of price action we're getting. And yeah, I think GU is looking quite bullish. I do agree, but nothing to worry about just yet. I would say nothing to worry about just yet. Let me look at GJ. GJ looking quite bullish as well, but for this one, like I did say earlier, I still do see a retracement to the upside for this one. So any bullish price action really doesn't scare me just yet for GJ. There's again very colossal move to the downside. If I stick a Fibonacci on that, you can see we've only just reached the 0.382. So even though that's quite a strong close, no, not a strong close, we haven't closed yet, quite a strong candle for pound JPY right now. Quite a strong candle on the 4H. We've only just reached the 0.382. This retracement could reach the 0.5 or even the 0.618 before coming back down. So you do have to put that in perspective a little bit. And like I said, I highlighted this area as a place where the market might, have trouble breaking through, reverse, and come back down to that support down there. So all this bullish price action, nothing to worry about really. It could be to worry about soon, but as of yet, I don't think it's anything to worry about. So yeah, I can see what happens there. No problem, William. I mean, yeah, you're on the daily chart, so yeah, there isn't too much to be done. Whereas us, we're looking at the charts a lot more than you, because you just have to wait for that daily candle closure. So yeah, I mean, once you've done your analysis, there is not much to do. Just wait, sit and wait, and be patient. So have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow, first Thursday live stream. So yeah, hope I see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Make sure you leave a like, anyone, if you're enjoying the live stream, or you're enjoying the content. It does mean a lot. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button, make sure you go do that as well. It does really help the channel out. Thank you, Chia. It does mean a lot. Thank you. Appreciate that, John. Appreciate that. Yeah, feel free to drop likes, anyone. Thank you. Very much appreciated. Thank you, William, for that like as well. Much appreciated, man. Thanks a lot. yeah, so New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen pair that I do have my eye on for today. See what type of price action we can get with this one. Looking for shorts. I want to see a nice change in that momentum though. So far it's quite bullish, so I want to see it turn bearish first before I can look to get involved or start to focus on a little bit more. But right now it's in my area of interest, like I said in the 4H, price support, now resistance. So it's in my area of interest, but then I do have interest up here at that trend line. So the market potentially come test that trend line and then drop. So we'll be looking at that area there as well. So I kind of got two areas. If it does break through this resistance, then the trend line there I'll be looking at as well. So I want to see how this candle closes, but it might be an opportunity later in today, maybe like 4 or 5 hours or something. GU is looking quite strong, but again, we'll wait for those candle closures. We wait for those candle closures. Again, still hasn't reached the 0.382 for GPUSD either. So, we could see a push to 50% and then the drop lower. So, we'll try and stay patient with this one, not get shaken out, too early. I'd rather price go against me, either stop me out for break even or take away a good chunk of my profit than me get out too early and see the market go hit my take profit. So I know over the long run, by seeing the trade out and hitting TP will make me more profitable than closing the trade too early, just trying to protect the profits that I've already secured. So if that was to happen, that's perfectly fine, but I'd rather try and see this trade through, and if it does eventually just go all the way up, I'll close it at some point. Not some point as in go into mad negative, but some point below my entry, so it would be eventually some profit. But yeah, pound USD looking a little bit bullish right now, but like I said, it still hasn't reached the 0.382 of that fib. So we could still see some more upside, hit 50% potentially, and then fall back down. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look at pound AUD, pound NZD as well. So yeah, pound AUD, like I said, for this one, we'll kind of close at a strong area of support there in the 4H. You can see nice strong candle closure, but we did close at support there. So a little bit tricky there with pound AUD because I can see downside, but this is support that I do need to see broken, in my opinion, because as of right now, we've had a big shift to the upside there. So a nice dump, big shift to the upside. And if we do take a look at the daily there, you can see the prior candle to that gave us a nice wick to the downside and then pulled all the way back up and actually did close bullish there. So on the daily time frame, it's giving us an idea that the market's struggling to move lower, and now it's giving us a bullish daily candle closure. So, you know, momentum has kind of died down to the downside there on the daily, and overall might want to turn bullish. And on the 4H, you know, we're holding onto that support there as well, and having a bit of a strong reaction from that same area. So for my opinion, GPAUD can see some upside, and if it does, it can be reaching 1.85 area. But if it was to see some downside and fill in this gap to the downside there, I would need to see the support broken, which so far it looks like it's holding on to quite aggressively. So pound AUD, I think if you do keep up this price action, oh, that's not what I wanted. If we do keep up this price action, then I think we can be looking at 1.85 here. If you do clear that resistance just above us, and maybe even higher as well. Pound NZD, again, like I said, for this one, we can see some room to the downside. Do have this trend line here, so 1, 2, 3. Nice false break, 4 retest of that, and then we saw some nice bearish conviction there. So momentum was definitely bearish here. I think we definitely need to stay below this trend line, and if we do that, I think we can be seeing another move back into this support. But like I said, if we do get back above this trend line, so we see a 4H candle closure, not hourly, 4H candle closure above that trend line, it might take us back until 1.98 into this resistance here. So I think the pound right now is very strong, hence why a lot of the pound pairs are moving to the upside. But right now, I think it's all up to how the next hourly candle closes and how the 4H candle closes, because if this does close above that trend line, then we might be seeing some upside. And pound AUD, you know, we are looking like we're holding that support, so yeah, we might be seeing some upside for those two pairs. If that does happen, then I see 1.85 for pound AUD and 1.98, I believe. Yeah, 1.98 for GPNSD, but we do need to break that trend line for that to happen. If it doesn't, then I see downside back down to this support, which is around 1.95, 500. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for joining the live stream. Does mean a lot. Yeah, it's 10 a.m. GMT tomorrow to 12 p.m. GMT, so same time as today, same time all the time really. 10 a.m. GMT to 12 p.m. GMT. So I hope to see you there. Yeah, nice, John. So yeah, it's definitely important to take those partials, because you don't want to, you know, hope the trade does go and hit TP just to see it go in your direction and eventually come back to your entry. So yeah, good to take partials there. For GE, I did end up taking partials, you know, at this support there in the market. So I did take partials here at that support, and as you can see, we had a kind of a double bottom there, so 1, 2, and it is pushing to the upside. But I want to see how this candle closes there. Again, if I draw that fib, you can see it's pushing to that 0.382. The 50% is just slightly above that, so there is room for this to push to the upside. But I want to see how the 4H candle closes as well. But right now, yeah, I do agree it's looking quite bullish here, and it might want to be pushing to the upside back into these highs. And if that's the case, you know, we'll look to exit that. But I want to see how this next 1H candle closes for me. I'm currently looking at NZJPY for some potential shorts for this pair. So we've seen a really nice collapse to the downside, treating this bullish movement here as just retracement. So looking to get involved in the move down. I think we can come back down to this area around here. So yeah, those are the shorts I'm looking for in NZJPY. My area of interest to get involved in this short is this area here, so price support and long-term resistance. And then if we do break through that, then this trend line here, which is like the retest of that. So you've seen the break, and now I'm looking for the retest of that as resistance. Currently right now it's too bullish for me to get involved. You can see price action there on the hourly time frame. You push, had that pullback, now push into the upside again. So right now it's quite bullish. Looks like it might be breaking through this, and if it does, you know, that's the trend line there. I'll see what type of price action we're getting at that area. But yeah, NZJPY, I'm looking for potential shorts for this one. As of right now, like I said, too bullish, so I'm going to see how that gets on. But yeah, we'll be shorting NZJPY if I do see a nice opportunity to do so. And we've got multiple areas, you know, we're looking to take profit at, or target anyway. So we've got price support here, support back there, support there, and also support all the way down here. So there's numerous places. I probably won't hold the trade on all the way down to here, maybe there or there even. But yeah, looking to take advantage of this big drop we've seen to the downside for NZJPY, and now I want to see the conviction, or the follow through anyway, lower to the downside. Again for NZJPY, so you know, impulse retracement and then impulse again. So I want to catch that second move to the downside. And yeah, we've got numerous places we're looking to target, but as of right now, the trade's not on. So I do have my eye on this trade here, see what happens later throughout the day. Right now it's bullish, so I might have to wait, you know, a few hours for this one to develop. Might even take till tomorrow, or it might happen overnight. So yeah, I just got my eye on this one. I'm really focusing my attention on that trade. So we'll see what happens with this one. So far it's too bullish. And if I do get a nice entry, we'll look to take those shorts. But so far, currently just in GU, and just going to see how this one moves. Potentially could be looking to exit soon, but yeah, like I said, I want to see how this candle closes. And also see how potentially maybe the next one, depending how that candle closes as well. And maybe the 4H as well, because that would give me a nice, you know, idea where the momentum is on the 4H point of view. So yeah, only looking at NZJPY really, so you can get some nice opportunities with that one, and currently in GU shorts. Yeah, if pound JPY does retrace from around the 50% area, it does look good for shorts. On the fib, it hasn't quite reached there, that area yet, but it is in my area of interest. However, we do have nice area of support there, which is now flipped as resistance. So on 4H, you can see nice area of support now flipped to resistance. And yeah, I do agree, it does look like good shorts here to the downside. We saw that conviction to the downside yesterday, so I'm treating this as a retracement. The momentum is definitely much with the bears, even though we do look quite strong here with bullish. But I do think we will flip bearish here and come back down to those lows. So yeah, pound JPY does look good for some shorts here. But as of right now, we go to the 15-minute. You know, we're still quite bullish there. We're seeing some pullback there on that candle, on that 1H candle, but overall still quite bullish. So yeah, we might see a bit more upside. And then we could come potentially lower, and then potentially could see a possible move back down to potential lows. As of right now, the market is quite bullish, so I'm going to see if we can get a bit of that retracement, turn bearish, a nice shift in momentum, and then potentially could see that continuation lower. We do have a nice area of support all the way down there, so if we can get down there, so if we can get there, that would be great. Maybe use some new lows there as well. Yeah, but I do agree, pound JPY shorts. Is the mic better now? Is it sound better? Sorry for the interference, by the way. Yeah, yeah, I do agree. So yeah, anywhere at the 50%, 0.5 and 0.682, anywhere around there is typically a good place to look for, you know, buys or sells, you know, depending where the market has gone to. But yeah, I do agree, anywhere around there. 50% hasn't quite reached here, so we could still see some upside. But yeah, I do agree, anywhere between those areas is normally a good place, looking for shorts or buys. But yeah, my bias is still very much to the downside for GJ, so looking for those shorts, and same thing for GU as well. Currently the market is still quite bullish. Want to see how that candle closes. It's trying to pull back, but we're still about 15 minutes left. You know, the market could still close very bullish, or, you know, flip bearish. So gonna see how that candle closes, and if it does pull back like this, I'll probably wait for, you know, the candle after that as well, or maybe even wait just to the 4H just to see how that closes. But yeah, gonna wait patiently, see what GU wants to do, but more downside I'm still favoring. Same thing for GJ, but currently not in this trade, might not even get in this trade. If GU starts to play out, then yeah, I'll probably just stay with GU. But GJ does look like a good opportunity. You know, if this does plan out, we got around about 150, 160 pips to the downside, so there's a lot of room to the downside for this pair. There's a lot of room. Yeah, so if anyone's looking at any different pairs, or, you know, any different charts, just let me know, drop it in the live chat below, and I'll make sure I'll get back to you guys and do some analysis on those pairs for you, or if you're in any trades as well. Feel free to share, take a look at them, see how they're going. But yeah, we're going to see how GJ gets on again. Still looking at NZJPY, so you can get some shorts for this one. Again, I'm pretty sure it's still quite bullish here, so you know there's no real reason to get involved in any shorts there. Still quite bullish. Still could push on maybe the trend line, or might even go further, or potentially even might turn bullish. You know, nobody knows, but we'll see what happens with this pair. We do have about another 12 minutes before that candle closes. If it does close similar to how it's looking now, you know, I'll probably just I will leave that pair alone and come back and check on it later. GJ, same thing as well, need a little bit more from that one. GU still pushing up here, so I can see how that candle closes, but overall GU still trying to turn bullish, but like I said, giving this pair a little bit room to breathe. You know, it's hit those 0.382, 50% up there, so it can still come there and return back down again. So we'll take that into account. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look at US 30. Okay, so let me clear the chart. Okay, so US 30 overall, you know, fairly bullish market. We're actually seeing quite a big dip in price, and the market's come right back up to that same area of resistance there on the daily. So currently trading quite an interesting price. I can potentially maybe see a dip lower for US 30. Then maybe price wants to go and break it, continue to the upside, but I can see a dip lower from that level. So far, quite a nice bearish reaction there, but I think we can go a little bit further than that. You can see quite a strong reaction there on the 4H previously. If we connect these lows here in the market, connect that as well there. So yeah, three kind of major tests, 1, 2, 3. It does look like the market is pushing back up now, so we might start climbing back up here a little bit, and then I think we'll sell off again to the downside. But as of right now, still a little bit bullish. On the hourly time frame, yeah, still a little bit bullish. So we might even push all the way back up to this zone here in the market and then have a slight sell off. But yeah, I wouldn't look for anything right now. For me, I think the market still has a bit of room to the upside. So if anything, if you're on the lower time frames, maybe some short-term buys to the upside, maybe targeting this level here in the market up there, and then maybe you can look to set it back down again, back into that trend line, and if you can get a break and can go a lot further than that. But as of right now, you know, the market's still bullish, still pushing higher highs, higher lows. So if anything, buys, I reckon back to this level here, and then see how the market reacts there, because we potentially could come back all the way up to here to retest those highs. But yeah, the market's looking quite bullish, so back up to there, short-term buys potentially. But then I think if we do see the market turn bearish, some good sells from there back into the trend line, and a break of that, you know, we can go a lot further. As you can see, quite a big drop there, but again, the market is still quite bullish here, so I wouldn't take that drop there as, you know, the market's reversed and it's coming down. I wouldn't take it as just yet. You know, we do have support here in the market as well, so you can see the market had a nice wick here, push to the upside, has come back into that same area, a nice wick as well, bounce off that trend line. You know, the market could easily, you know, just push to the upside, give us some new highs as well. So do have to take that into account and remember the market is overall still in bullish structure, so you don't have to sell off. So for now, I think, you know, if you do hold into this area, I think we'll probably see US30 climb to the upside into this area. And if it does change bearish, you know, see some aggressive bearish price action, then some sales will be good. But if it doesn't and stays bullish, then I think we'll probably see price back at those highs again, and maybe even a higher high as well. So some good buys there, maybe for the New York up into that level there, and then potentially further if we can get a break. But if it doesn't, we might see price come back into that trend line. So yeah, I hope that analysis helped with US30. That's actually a good question, to be fair. I got introduced into Forex by my dad, actually, to be fair, a few years ago. So yeah, I think he was learning at the time for, I don't know, maybe a year or so or a few months, and then he introduced it to me, so I started learning it. Then yeah, I was quite interested in it because, you know, kind of not necessarily heard about it before, but, you know, I've seen it in places, never really understood it, so I was quite intrigued about it. And obviously, you know, financial benefits, you know, quite big if, you know, if you can make it quite successful. So I was quite determined to, you know, learn about it. And yeah, ever since my dad showed me, then I've just been kind of interested in it, and I started back when I was in school, and then, you know, just kind of stuck at it and kept and kept going, kept learning, kept failing, kept getting back up. But yeah, it was actually my dad who introduced me to it. How did you get started with trading? And are you fairly new to it as well, or have you been doing it for some time? Okay, so guys, come up to 12 p.m. GPUSD hourly candle just closed, so it's coming up to the end of the live stream. So we'll do a quick rundown of some of the pairs that we looked at earlier, see how they're getting on. Also, talk you through some of the pairs that I'm looking through for the rest of the week. Looking to trade, and also GPUSD, and see how they're getting on. No, I'm currently do have a short position on GPUSD from yesterday, from back up there, so you can get a nice follow through to the downside back into those lows. So far the market is rejecting that support, so I'll probably close a bit more of my position. I'll probably wait for another candle closure, but I think we'll probably turn bullish here for GPUSD. We are seeing a very big change of momentum down the lower time frames, and GPUSD might be finding support there on the 4 hourly as well. So GPUSD does look good for potential buys early on, maybe retracement and the continuation, because that is a strong candle closure there. So I'll probably look to close some partials off. I might wait for another candle closure to exit my position completely, but right now, yeah, there's quite a strong candle closure, so we'll exit some of our positions. But GU at the moment in time does look potential good for potential buys, but no, I do not have a bullish position. I've got a bearish position, but not a bullish one. And I'm bearish on GU. Actually, I'm bearish on GU. I mean, this price action here is bullish, but overall, from higher time frames, GPUSD is bearish, so I'm currently bearish on GPUSD. The market could obviously still push up, come back into this resistance here potentially, and then fall to the downside. So overall, I'm still bearish, but we can still see a movement to the upside. The price action is quite bullish, so we could easily still see a movement to the upside, and the market then comes down. But as of right now, it is looking quite bullish, yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the industry is like that. You got people, making millions, and if you're not making millions, it makes you feel like you're missing out. So yeah, I do understand that, and yeah, you have to go through those losers to get to those wins. It's all part of the process, part of the journey. Yeah, I was thinking GPUSD might go down for a bit before it turns back bullish again. I think it might turn bullish again, potentially because GPUSD did, if I go on the daily time frame, you can see it did take a big dump to the downside, recently, and it hasn't really retraced that much. So yeah, I think GPUSD could potentially turn bullish, but right now it's still, still technically bearish. Very strong candle closure there on the hourly, so we'll be taking some partials. It could potentially push up further if it wants to. But at this moment in time, as long as we stay below this resistance here, I'm still bearish here for GPUSD. But yeah, I do agree it does look like it's potentially changing. Is the mic still messing up, or has it cleared up? But yeah, I'm doing a quick rundown of some of the pairs that we looked at earlier, guys. So going to take a look at them. Euro USD, another those pairs. Euro USD is actually closing quite well to the downside, so it's clear strength in the pound rather than strength in the weakness in the US dollar. Really, I think the pound is quite strong. You can see Euro USD actually closed bearish, rather GPUSD closed bullish. So there's clear strength in the pound today. Well, this morning anyway. Euro USD still trapped in that consolidation, so I still do think we could potentially see a break to the upside maybe, and then price comes down to that lower area. Or we could just break to the downside anyway. But my bias for Euro USD is still to the downside. As long as we stay underneath this resistance here, which we did see a bit of manipulation of. As long as we stay below that, I think Euro USD is still on sells. But right now it's in some consolidation, so not really interested in it right now, but potentially could give up maybe some nice entries later on. Pound JPY, we're looking at that for potential sells. Still a little bit bullish for me as well, as you can see, pushing to the upside. GU looks quite bullish, so this was kind of following behind it. Price support there, which is now turn into resistance. So if that does hold, I can see pound JPY fall into the downside, back into these lows here, and maybe even further. But as of right now, as you can see, we're still kind of bullish here. We're going to see some I want to see some nice strong bearish candles to make me get involved, but right now a little bit too bullish, and like I said, I don't think we have quite reached the 50% yet, so there's still a little bit room to the upside for price to reach that area and then maybe turn. But I think generally in this area, if the market does turn bearish, it does look good for potential sells there for pound JPY. Next, going to take a look at NZD JPY. So NZD JPY, another pair that I'm looking at for potential sells. Right now it's looking quite bullish, pushing through that area there. So again, we did have a nice area of price support, now turn resistance. So if we can hold up this area, potential sells look good. But if we do push past, into that trend line there, that looks good for sells as well. NZJPY, if I do get a fib on that, 50% kind of lines up with that trend line there. So maybe we can get a nice spike into that and then the move lower. But yeah, sells for NZJPY potentially add that trend line, but so far it's still bullish right now, and if it stays that way, it could move a lot higher. Next, we'll take a look at AUD/USD. So for this pair, again, another pair that did have a big collapse to the downside. We did come and have a test of the trend line here in the market. So first test up here, second and third, big collapse to the downside. Now come into price support resistance. So if the market does hold this, I can see another leg to the downside, back into these lows here. And if you can get a break of those lows back down to 0.74 around there, which is a nice weekly area where I think the market is probably heading to go to. So yeah, sells do look good for AUD/USD, but as of right now, similar to the other pairs we looked at, was still bullish. So yeah, still too early to look for sells right now. Might happen later today or maybe even tomorrow. Next one, take a look at USDCHF. So for this one, we were talking about potential move to the upside. We had nice resistance here, so resistance there with all those wicks, resistance there again. We broke to the upside, came back down, tried to continue lower, consolidated it below, but now we'll pop back above it. So yeah, if the market does hold on to this support, I do see a nice move up to the upside. I did say it would be nice to see a bit of a spike lower first to take out these wicks, and then we could look for some buys. But if the market does hold on to that, which it does look like it's trying to do, I'll probably wait for a 4H close though. I can see the market pushing to the upside and seeing another move back into that resistance up there. And again, we'll probably need to see some US dollar strength for that to happen. DXY having a bit of a hard time. You can see we are consolidating, even though the bias is to the upside for the DXY. We're consolidating currently, so it depends which way the DXY wants to break out to. We could easily have a bit of a false breakout, pop back in, and then push higher, or we could break to the downside, maybe come back to this support here as well. So we have to be a bit reactive with this one. DXY is consolidating, so it's not really the best to try to guess where it wants to go. My bias is to the upside for the DXY currently, but it could move down first before that happens. So not going to try and guess that. Just going to see reactive, see what DXY wants to do, and then USDCHF will play out accordingly to that. If DXY breaks to the upside, then USDCHF might get that strength it needs to push on and push into that resistance. But as of right now, we're still holding on to that support. So we'll see what happens there on the 4H time frame, and then potentially some buyers could be leading up to that area. So this is currently the end of the live stream, guys. Currently still in GU. Like I said, we'll probably be taking some partials now, and I might exit the trade completely if another candle does close bullish as well. If this next candle comes back below the area, then it potentially does look good for more downside. But if it stays bullish like that, I see another strong candle close with that momentum, I'll probably might just exit the trade completely and just get back on the sidelines and see if we can find an opportunity later on or in a different pair. But yeah, looking for more continuation to the downside for pound USD, but we'll be taking some partials after that close. And NZD-JPY, like I said, more shorts for this one, still too bullish, and also pound JPY, more shorts for this one, but still too bullish as well. So eyes on those pairs. We'll see how they play out. Again, I do have a live stream tomorrow, so make sure you're there to check it out. We'll be going through these pairs as well, talking about GU, seeing how that pair plays out over the course of today, and then we'll go over it again tomorrow, Thursday, 10 a.m. GMT to 12 p.m. GMT. Make sure you're there, not miss it out. Thanks again for watching the live stream, guys. It does mean a lot. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content, and drop a like on the video as well if you're feeling generous, or you found the content useful. So thanks again for watching, guys. It does mean a lot, and until the next one, I will see you guys later.